Do do da do 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 da do 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 da da down do 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 da da down 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 da down down down. Who's to blame? Yeah, it's who's to blame, y'all. Who's to blame, y'all? Yeah, it's who's to blame, y'all. Welcome to Who's to Blame, the podcast. We've been brought to you by a title sponsor, St. Louis Organics, located at 8088 Watson Road. How we doing, good people? And welcome to the show. If it's your first time tuning in, thank you so much. There are several ways that you can follow the show. You can follow the show on social media platforms. We have a page on Facebook, Who's to Blame the Podcast, Twitter at W2B Dre Montez, and YouTube Dre Montez. You can also visit the website at www.dremontez.com and to get you all caught up onto speed with myself and the show itself, as we also do another live streaming show each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on those same three platforms of Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We also share our content on Instagram as well, with Who's to Blame the Podcast. And we, from time to time, we'll put some videos on the tick of the talk at Dre Montez 63. But today's podcast, it's something that has really been on the minds of people in the St. Louis area, and that is football. Football is back in the Lou, but we coming to you the cause, the law style, XFL style. Now, the XFL is new to some. There's some that didn't give it a chance, want to give it a chance again, but there are conflicting stories on what the hype is, why there's so many people in the St. Louis area involved in this XFL. But you put it to mind like this: we're a football town with a baseball problem and a hockey problem. We know that. Now we're in the conversation of the Joneses of having that sports town affiliation, affliction, love affair going on across the board. But wrestling is here too. In the first go around, Mr. McMahon was involved in the XFL, and with the reinvention, the second time was involved. But this time, we got different people involved in this, and I think that has a lot to do with it as well. You got Dwayne Johnson, as well as his wife and ex-wife and partner involved in this as well. A lot of key components moving to this thing and getting the XFL back and running, back in St. Louis. And I think it's more than interesting. I bring a special guest on today, my man, all the way from Springfield, Missouri, my man, Alistair Fannell. What's going on, my man?
What's going on with you?
Welcome to the show. I mean, you are a football extraordinaire, historian. Love your articles on the past with football here in the St. Louis region. Wide left, conflicting stories, proof, rumor mill. Then we get the old Rams here in town, and that caused a hell of a shitstorm and catastrophe on the exit strategy and what has happened since then. But it now has reinvented itself, and football being back in the Lou with the XFL. My man, Alistair, what you got to say about that?
Well, it's great for football. It's great for the city of St. Louis that football's back. And it just goes to show you that football is in St. Louis is still number one. It's number one. The team's doing well with attendance. Had a sellout crowd when they took on against the Arlington Renegades. The game I was there, though it was very cold for me, tailgating. And this past weekend, they had over 35,000 during the same time we had a soccer match going on in downtown St. Louis with the St. Louis City FC. They had 22,000. So again, football is just big in St. Louis, and the people in St. Louis wants to prove to the world that, hey, we are a football city.
Right. I think anytime a sports franchise is either losing or there's a disagreement with the powers that be, the fans in the city, that they're in, there's any type of rebuttal or a pushback going either way, people on the outside have their own theory and thoughts about what happened here in St. Louis with the team that used to be here. And now that we have the XFL. But as I was telling you, or pinpointing to you before this, I think the XFL is a little bit surprised on this second go round with the XFL here in St. Louis after COVID. They didn't think it would be this intense and this exciting and engaging.
Right. I think for the most part, they kind of figured there will be about 26,000 on the second go around, because in the first go around, the lower bowl area at the Dome Stadium, they were seating around 29,000. I was there during the second resurrection of the XFL when it was owned by Vince McMahon back in 2020. It was really intense at that time.
Right.
And 3 years later, you had a sellout crowd, and once again, the people in St. Louis.
I think a lot of us that were here when that other team was here, and knowing what has happened, since what has happened with that team out there on the left coast, that new building they got, what happened with the team in the bowl, I think a little people are a little pissed off. Really want to stick it to the man and show up and show out and show them, look, it had nothing to do with that man and that team. These fans are going to be here no matter what. Now, you get somebody here with some common damn sense, we can do something really good.
Exactly. Basically, I think the NFL, really wanted a team in Los Angeles, and the preferred team was the Rams. They played there for 54 years before they moved to St. Louis. And, they played in St. Louis for 20 years. We thought that we were going to keep the Rams in St. Louis, but we got played by a man who was originally from the state of Missouri, Stan Kroenke. All he cared about was that money and everything else, how to get his team more valuable. So he decided to just go ahead and build a stadium in Inglewood, California, and everything else. It cost $50 billion for a new stadium out there, whereas here in St. Louis it would have been just about $1 billion. He wouldn't be able to own the stadium. Let's keep that in mind.
All right.
But the way how the process went, it wasn't fair, and that's why people to this day in St. Louis just continue on saying, Kroenke sucks, and wanting to prove the world that, hey, St. Louis is a football city, and we're proving it right now.
We're selling out. I think we're proving we're a sports town as well. We are a very, very deep embedded sports town and city for sure. And you are right, we're a football town. Yeah, and the ratings are proving it. The ratings are really proving it here. We're watching the Battlehawks, and we're even helping the league a lot, because we're watching other teams play in the XFL. Even if it's not the St. Louis Battlehawks, we're still watching the teams. I think if the XFL marketing partners could go back in the shell and do it all over, I bet they're strategically market through St. Louis as the flagship for the XFL, looking at the attendance, looking at the fan base, looking at the feedback, looking at the stories around the XFL. St. Louis is right there with everything. It's right there in everybody's situation when they come see the XFL. St. Louis is in a major part of the conversation. Exactly. But if Kroenke would have been, everybody says, he lied, we got played, this is some bullshit. Everybody has their version of what happened. Here we are in 2023. Now we're seeing different versions of owners being very upfront on what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, and they don't care what you have to say, whether it's the media or players or a fan base. They don't care. I.e., look at the Mets. Yeah. That fan base likes a straightforward owner. Look, I'm coming here to spend all this money because this is what I want. He's telling the people up front what he wants. Let Stiff
Exactly.
Stan could do that all over again and be right up front with us. Just tell us the truth. I wonder
Exactly.
what would have happened then.
Well, if he would have just told the city of St. Louis up front that, hey, I'm planning on moving the team because look, you guys are a small market city and everything else. And if he would at least said that St. Louis is a 4 sport city, and that any NFL team can move over here, or maybe an expansion team can come to St. Louis, we would have been all right. But instead, we just hid in the dark and everything else, and then wrote that letter to the NFL for the reason why he wants to move his team back to Los Angeles.
Right. I mean,
Whereas
everybody in America knew that football needed to go on the left coast in the right way. Everybody knew that strategically, marketability, and financially for the NFL to survive and move forward. They needed something in a plus value on the left coast. We all knew that. We just don't like the extenuating circumstances that happened with our team in our town and city. We didn't like the verbiage on that.
right. Going back, it would have been better for us if you would have kept the St. Louis Football Cardinals.
The Bidwells.
The Bidwell. Because
and Kit Bond was involved in that too, wasn't he?
Yeah, Kit Bond. No, I don't think Kit Bond was. John Ashcroft was involved.
That is. Okay.
John Ashcroft was involved. Mayor Vincent Shamo and Gene McNary, they were all involved. And I was listening to an interview last month from Dan Deerdorf, and I really agree with him that the situation with the Cardinals, that was really the city that was the city's fault, because they didn't want to support a stadium in Maryland Heights, Missouri, where you have that amphitheater where it's located. That was where the stadium was supposed to be to keep the football Cardinals in St. Louis. But
right,
you had Vincent Shamo and all the rest of the city leaders just pounding the fist like, no, we're not going to support it. And the Cardinals left. They went to Arizona. Now, here's another thing, too. It took Arizona 19 years. The Arizona Cardinals, it took them 19 years to get a new stadium.
Well, that was because of the law situation there. They wanted – the city wasn't budging due to the Martin Luther King situation.
Right. Part of that was part of it. The other part was that, people didn't want to use taxpayers' money to build a new stadium.
Of course. And
you have this situation going on right now with the Arizona Coyotes, who are playing over in Tempe, Arizona. They're trying to get a new stadium out there. Not a new arena.
At a community college, Alistair. A community college, a national hockey team.
Yes.
It's playing at a community college. You're talking about a slap in the face for a sport. That's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. It is what it is. But, I just wish that St. Louis had kept the Cardinals and put more emphasis on that. They kind of rolled the dice, and they figured if the Cardinals left, they would get an expansion team. But that didn't happen. And so their backup plan was to lure another team away, which was the Rams. Georgia Frontier, being from St. Louis.
Rest her soul.
God rest her soul. We all thought that this was going to last a lifetime. But when she passed away and Stan Kroenke took over.
Them damn kids didn't want the team. I mean, how does – I tell this people, I know a lot of people that have a business, very well off, they have kids, and they're trying to put their kids in position to be well off with the family business. More than half of the kids don't want nothing to do with the family business. I don't get that. If your parents started something.
Well, part of it is due that, some of the kids, you got some bad apples in your family.
Wealthy kids are the most.
Yeah, you got some bad apples.
They're different.
And they may have, done something that was bad and everything else, or they just didn't have any interest.
What could be so bad that we don't want to accept our mother, father sports team? What could be that bad?
Yeah, I mean.
What could be that bad that my mother or father did? Hey, we bought the Cardinals, so here you go. Damn you, mom and dad. The hell with you. I don't want that team. Sell it.
Yeah,
Like,
it
who's
would
to
have been
blame for
great.
that type of
It
behavior?
would have been better if the Rosenberg children would have kept the team, but unfortunately, Stan Kroenke was a minority owner and everything else. People were,
Through the wife, wasn't he? Didn't he get that stake in there through the wife? He came in through the back door side, though. That wasn't all him. I think that's by marriage, that connection.
yes, the Walton family, Ann Walton.
Bingo.
Well, let's not forget this too. Ann Walton family now owns the Denver Broncos, so he basically
Yeah.
they got themselves a major sports empire going on.
But he doesn't run it. It's, I believe, in a daughter's name.
Yeah,
And then they
Ann
got the son
Walton.
with the basketball team. Then somebody else got the hockey team.
Yep, and their soccer team too.
But that's perfectly fine.
It is. It is.
But
It
here in
really
this
is.
town, I think what has transpired since it came back that we had Anthony Beck as our coach, the reemergence of the XFL, the clause, the law. I'm thinking now that the new version of what they're going to do with that dome, the renovations, it's going to be more of the Battlehawks next year.
Yes.
Because there's still, I don't think everybody thought it was going to be this way. And I bet a lot of people like, I wish we would have done this, but nobody knew what to expect.
Yeah.
Nobody knew what to expect. I mean, social media is one thing, but actually seeing this up close and personal, Saturday night, it was 2,000 below degrees here. And it was still people outside tailgating like it was the middle of summer.
It was. Oh, and it was cold. It was.
It was too cold to just.
I mean, I felt like going to a car, going back to the Rams tailgate. Like in December, it was just so cold, and your fingers are just, you could barely feel your fingers. It wasn't that bad, but it was still cold. You could still
It was
feel
the
it.
wind.
It was the wind, you could feel it and everything else. It was what you call the river effect wind and everything.
It's coming right off that water. Man, look here.
Yeah, but it was still cold. I came in to the tailgate with a light jacket and everything else. And when I was sitting up there in line, getting ready to go into the dome into the dome, I was just screaming off the top of my lungs. Hurry up and open the door. I'm cold. My feet are cold. My fingers are cold. Open the damn door. Once they opened that door, I just ran right in there and everything else. Gave me my ticket and everything else, and here I am in the indoor and everything, and still trying to thaw out my fingers and everything because my fingers were just cold. I mean, it was really cold. I underestimated the weather out there. I thought it was going to be maybe about in the at least in the high 40s, early 50s. Wearing a light jacket, but it felt like it was
officially put my tailgating papers in Sunday morning. I am only tailgating moving forward 58 degrees and up. Winds blowing less than 8 miles an hour. No precipitation. I'm not doing it. No.
Mm-hmm.
No. I've done enough for the cold. I've been in the rain. I've camped out. I've done it all. I've done it all, Alistair. No, I'm spoiled now. Look, I want nice weather. I want the music at a certain volume. This man was trying to have a conversation with me, standing in front of the speaker. And I'm like this. He doesn't realize he's talking. He's just yelling. So how many times have you been down to the game? But the way the XFL looks here, I like it. I was in Carolina when the XFL first started. I was down there for that. The energy was there for one game.
Yeah.
One game only. In Carolina. It was just there for one game. That first game, you'd have thought it was a Super Bowl, a rock concert, a NASCAR, Coca-Cola 600, all in the same day.
Yeah.
But after that, it dwindled down. So I was watching the early games in XFL Part 3. Certain towns are not doing as well as St. Louis. St. Louis has been in more than 20,000 each and every game.
Yeah, and the reason is that some of these cities are having a bit of a conflict with the schedule and everything.
We waited
Um,
5 weeks to a home game.
yeah, we waited 5 weeks to a home game, and let's face it, we waited pretty late because they had the situation with the Vegas Vipers
Yeah,
in
what's
that.
going on with that? You were telling me what's going on. You got
Oh
an
yeah,
issue with
they're
Vegas?
playing. They're playing in a baseball. They're playing in a minor league baseball stadium that only seats around between 10 and 11,000. They're averaging about 6 to 8, between 6 to 7,000, which is not bad for. But if I kind of wish they would award a team in San Diego because that's a city that doesn't have a professional football team. They lost the Chargers, and they should have put that team there. But one of the owners of the XFL, named Jerry Cardinal, I can't pronounce his last name, but he wanted a team in Las Vegas, and
Everybody
they
wants
all
something in Vegas.
yeah, and it all has to do with gambling. You know, that was the reason why they wanted a team there.
Why are they
And
not playing
then,
at Reliance Stadium?
well, Mark Davis is the reason why.
He wanted some money.
He wanted money up front and
Oh,
everything,
he
and
crocky their ass.
yeah, he probably Crockett. Yeah, he sure did. He Crockett them and
Let
everything
me
else.
get
He's
that
like,
money, player. Let me get all
yeah,
that.
I need that money. I need
4
that
and
money
5, player. I need
and
all that money
everything.
right now.
Yeah,
But
but
I really do believe this
yeah,
is a
I think
who's to blame moment on the marketing strategy of the XFL. After week 2, they should have went right back to the drawing board and say, look here, something's off. Let's reshift the mechanism here.
yeah,
Because they're missing out on a golden opportunity right now.
When Vince McMahon owned the XFL, he was advertising the teams in their local cities. They had billboards and everything else. Now here in St. Louis, we've had some billboards, and I've asked several people when I was with interviewing with Dirty on if you watch his live stream,
Mhm.
Jason, I asked him, are they advertising? Are they having billboards and all that? And they've been sending players on local television, but they're not advertising it. They're not having big billboards there like we're
Nope.
doing. And
The
that's what they
first go
need to do.
around, yes, it was everywhere.
It was
Before the
everywhere.
season started, they were going out doing these meet and greets, doing happy hour, fan fest, doing all that. Then once
Right.
the season started, I don't know if there was a change up with the marketing department or a new approach to maybe there's a different strategic plan. They're waiting till baseball season starts and the playoff push for hockey. They want to get everybody in one spot at one time. Because
Right.
it was even hard to get information about the scheduling and ticketing with the XFL.
Exactly.
It was
It
too
was
many
hard.
questions they were asking.
Yeah, because they started late. They really started late, with their schedule and everything. Because again, they had that situation with Las Vegas,
Right.
and I question, why put a team there in Vegas where you have another football team that's owned by Mark Davis, and you know how greedy he is. He really wants the town for himself.
Very, very.
Very much. You would have been it would have been better off if they put a team out there in San Diego. Look at San Diego's got a new stadium there for San Diego State University that seats 35,000.
But I think everybody wants their cut, like you said. But with football is back in the loo for sure. I saw it
Right.
with my own eyes, and I know I'm legally blind, but I was right there. I've seen it. I've seen the
Hmm.
3 versions of the XFL, 2 in St. Louis and 1 in Charlotte, North Carolina. In this
Mm.
version of the XFL, I don't know if it's due to the accreditation of what The Rock was able to do before he got involved, and then with his background, as well as with Danny's background, the managing partner of the XFL. But everything that has been done at each XFL game in different cities. Here, we've had Danny here, and that's it. The Rock was supposed to be here. Now people want Nelly to show up. What do you think we
Yeah.
need to be here in attendance for the XFL crowd and the XFL.com nation to get it? Like, look, St. Louis, that deal.
I would like to see them, maybe in their final season. I had a chance to talk with I had a chance to talk with Bob Underwood, who owns the St. Louis Football Cardinals memorabilia website on Facebook, and I was suggesting, why not bring all the alum players from the Cardinals and the Rams together and have an alumni night in St.
I
Louis?
think you should
And,
call it
and,
St.
and, and
Louis football teams. That way, the
yes,
Cardinal players not feeling like an obligation with a color scheme, and the Ram players are not feeling like it's a color scheme. There's no involvement with the football Cardinals, no involvement with that other team. It's
right,
all St. Louis football.
exactly.
That would be
You
a
know,
great thing to do.
that would be
That
really
should have been the 314 tailgate. I know it was a couple of days before, after 314, but that should have been something they should have done.
Yeah, they should have done that. I hope they do. I hope they really do. You know,
Right.
because I would like to see some of them great players from back in the past. You know, see Dan Durdorf back. The last time, you know, when the second edition of the XFL came back, when they had their first game back in 2020, Torrey Holt was there.
Yeah.
Torrey Holt was there. Who else was there? There was another former Ram there.
I think Oz Hakeem even showed up.
I saw, yeah, Oz Hakeem was there. I saw Roger Stafford there. He was at the game.
There's a lot of former players that live in the residing area here, so it's not like we got to go way out and find people.
Yeah, Isaac Bruce still lives in St. Louis.
Yeah, but is the XFL back in the Lou and is football back in the Lou?
Yes.
There it is right there. Again, folks,
yeah,
this is Who's to Blame the podcast. Your boy Dre Montez, and I'm joined today by a special host, writer, my man Alistair Fannell out of Springfield, Missouri area. I'd like to thank you for joining on the show, and I'm going to shorten up and be coming right back and have a few more words with him. But until next time, good people, thank you for tuning into the show, and thank you for listening to Who's to Blame the podcast. All right, I can edit that right there. But yeah, I want to see. I think according to the Farmer's Almanac and our neighborhood meteorologist, I do believe the next home game, we got a decent day of weather set up.
Yes.
And I think we may get more people because the numbers are coming in. You know, it's Tuesday. People are seeing the numbers from the XFL and everything like that. And didn't they already tell us where the championship game is going to be played at already? Isn't that already picked?
Yeah, it's going to be played in San Antonio.
See, I guarantee we had a beautiful, if the dome looked good on the inside, because the dome looked like a garage over on the Illinois side to me, just with carpet on the floor. That's all. There's nothing that sticks out. There's nothing. If that place looked good on TV, I guarantee they'll rethink the process. Yeah. But it looks like a piece of shit on TV.
It does, unfortunately. You know,
there's no glitz and glamour about that place. It's not our fans. It's not the fans' fault at all. That place sat vacant for what, 5 years?
Yep.
Just doing conventions and church ceremonies. That's it.
Exactly. And don't forget, though, next, coming this fall, they're going to have University of Missouri take on Memphis at the dome and everything. Right. I just wish they would spend. They need to do some fixing there. They got to do something.
I said this before. I think the wrong people with great intentions are talking about sports ideas. They have the money idea, but they don't have the schematics or the right verbiage to initiate the sports conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're talking about sports to people. The people they're talking to about the sports, the people don't understand them because they don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
They're talking to people about sports, but they're really talking about money.
Yep.
They're not getting the whole attraction. If you drive around the city of St. Louis from Jefferson, I'm going to go from Market all the way downtown. No, Jefferson all the way downtown.
Yeah.
It looks totally different than it did 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
It does. It's
an engaging city. People want to be here, want to be a part of something big. Right. Bring it here. We have a hockey team now. We got a soccer team. We got an XFL team, a baseball team.
Yep. We're a four-sport team.
Town.
We're
and look what SLU is doing, men and women, soccer and basketball. Look at Mizzou, MIZ, everybody's Illinois, everybody's coming back.
Yeah, St. Louis University.
Yeah.
St.
But
Louis
if the
University.
powers that be were doing this right, we should have had a big-time college football game, a bowl game at Busch Stadium.
Oh, definitely.
We should have had that. We should have utilized the dome in that 5-year vacancy other than for churches and midget wrestling and indoor carnivals, which make no fucking sense to me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Who goes to a carnival indoors?
Now, remember, last year I wrote an article about St. Louis University getting a football program.
Yeah.
They should get, I wish, because listen, I mean, while basketball is still big time, football, generates a lot of money.
Downtown, you know what all they want to spend their money on is lights and paint. That's it.
Yeah.
They don't care about sports. They don't care. Well, there's three now. Soccer, hockey, baseball. We got to make them care about the other sports. We got to make them.
Yeah.
We got to somehow trick the city of St. Louis into bringing an NBA exhibition game in. Somehow we got to trick them.
Or bring in the WNBA team.
Stop it. I'm trying to win the argument. We need them first. Then we get the WNBA.
Mm-hmm.
Only way we can get the WNBA first, we're going to need the LBGT committee on board right now. That's the only way it's going to happen.
Yes.
Only way it's going to happen.
That's true.
But before we get there, why can't we get an NBA exhibition game here? Why can't the Atlanta Hawks come here and play and do a 75th anniversary of the St. Louis Hawks? Why?
Bulls, Memphis Grizzlies, one of those teams.
Why we can't get the Atlanta Hawks? They used to be here.
Yeah.
Why we can't get them playing Memphis?
Yeah.
We can do a barbecue festival and a basketball game.
Yeah, exactly.
That would sell out. But instead of that, you can go all the way down to Memphis tomorrow and watch Ja play for $5. Will not play for $5. What kind of shit is that?
Exactly.
It's like the wrong people are talking. I want to know who these people selling these ideas in Vegas. Who are these people? What Vegas is pulling off right in front of our eyes in the past 10 years is phenomenal.
It is. And just say, too, they're going to have a Major League Baseball team.
Oakland A's.
Yeah, the A's. They're going to be possibly be moving up Vegas, NBA team, and a Major League Soccer team, too.
Well, why doesn't the St. Louis Battlehawks do more marketing the players in the team locally?
I believe it has to do with the popularity. And
everybody they're the number one selling team in merchandise.
They are, yeah. You have to think, in several factors. I'm trying to get my my laptop. My laptop is a relic, by the way. but anyway, but you got to think, and I got to give a big shout out to Jason and Arlington and Will.
A-Train and Charlie, my man.
The A-Train, because they're doing the work. They're doing the work, promoting the XFL in all these cities, including here in St. Louis. And ever since they started back in 2000 and I think 18, something like that.
Right.
They've got the ball rolling. They really got the ball rolling. You also have to thank, Palmer Alexander as well, too, in the zone, for promoting the Battlehawks when they first arrived back in 2020. So
yeah, I mean, I don't understand why when it comes to not just here in St. Louis, but there are other sports in your town, why does it take so much to get the attention of that fan base or to get that team out there noticed? You're in the same town. Same town. What is the push-pull tactics here? Then if you go off on your own and do your own thing, now they're saying, oh, you don't want to be a part of this. Right. That kind of happened with the Cardinals and the Blues back in the day. They didn't always do shit together.
Exactly, they did.
That took a while to pull off. That took a while to pull off.
Yeah.
A while.
Sure did.
Everybody thought the Cardinals and the Blues fans got along. No. Two separate sports fan groups.
Yep.
But now they combine the jerseys. They combine
Mm-hmm.
promotions. Fretberg go to a hockey game.
And now they're doing it, and now they're finally combining with the soccer team and the XFL football team. I was in
Which is
St.
what
Louis.
everybody should do. We're in this
Yeah,
together.
they're finally doing it. They're finally doing it. I saw some shirts, that both had the Blues Cardinals, the City St. Louis soccer team, and the Battlehawks shirt and everything else. And it's about time they're doing that.
See, if they wasn't so greedy, can you imagine the type of sports complex we could have had and should have here in this town and city? We could have a mega sports complex if they weren't so greedy.
Exactly. We would have, if we had an NFL team and had a new stadium over at the riverfront and everything else, even though it was an outdoor stadium. We
could have had a major entertainment district.
Exactly.
To go to all of them.
And everything else.
To go to all of them, but instead of using 47,000 parking spots, 16,000 apps.
Right.
Come on now. Right. Simplicity is key.
Exactly.
It is the key.
And just think if we had, if we would have kept the NFL team and everything else, who knows? We probably would have had a new soccer stadium, but we would have other activities. We would have had the University of Illinois versus Missouri rivalry.
It's like they don't even care about that game anymore. They don't. It doesn't have the roar that it had 10 years ago. What happened?
No.
Why we can't get a bowl game at Busch Stadium?
Too many old politicians and too many old people running St. Louis. That's the problem.
Nobody cares until they understand when it's gone. What you mean it's not coming here no more? Why is that? Well, if you would have voted yes, we'll still have that. That's what happens every time. When something is taken away, there's a small group that say, well, why we don't do that no more? Well, in the last election, it was on this amendment or it was in this proposal, but nobody breaks it down to its purest form until it's gone. But with this XFL fan base and what I have seen so far, from the call is the Law Nation, from the kids to the men and the women, the women's sports fans in this damn town, look here. If it don't look good on them, they're not going to wear it.
Right.
If it look good on them and goes with them and their personality, going to wear the shit all the time and everywhere they go. Now you have a fan.
Exactly.
And as cold as it was Saturday, there were more women out in that cold than men.
Yep. Or
blowing
2 weeks
my mind.
ago, or a week ago, when the Battlehawks came, had their first home game. It was just cold as I don't know what.
Oh my God.
Oh, I could. Ooh.
As much shit as I give Buffalo Bills Nation and Bills Mafia sitting at home saying, look at these idiots. That looks fun. No, it does not. It looks painful.
Mm-hmm.
You need a true setup.
You're gonna do some damage on your vertebra and spinal cord, doing all that doing that extreme wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
Moving on that table like that.
You have to be in shape and know how to dress to tailgate.
Exactly.
And everybody has a job to do. There's nobody just showing up. No, Joey, do something. You too, Pam. You're not just going to show up and stand around. Everybody going to do something. Everybody. But that cold weather tailgating, no.
I can't do that. I can't do that. I'm not going to do that.
I didn't want to leave my dude down and out. My buddy Mark and I went to the game Saturday, so I didn't want to leave him down and out. Can't leave my dude behind. He going in the cold, I'm going in the cold. But I put my papers in on Saturday. I'm never helping anybody move again. And on Sunday morning, I put my papers in on tailgating. It must be at least 59 degrees. Winds blowing less than 10 miles an hour.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Especially here in the Loop.
Oh,
we got that XFL back, man. And even though we lost that game, everybody knows where the improvements need to be. But I really do think that a lot of teams don't really want to bank on in-season improvements because everybody's waiting to see the final numbers.
Right.
Everybody's waiting to see the final numbers. They need to improve the line. They need to do this on defense. They need to go get another quarterback. Calm down, people.
We need to improve.
Everybody's waiting to see the numbers.
Exactly. There's only 10 right now. There's 5 more games left to the season. Their next game is going to be against Las Vegas at that stadium in Vegas. And after the season's over, when the dust settles, if we make it to the postseason,
we're making it to the postseason.
There's going to be some players that are going to be moving on, possibly from the NFL.
Some to the NFL.
Some to the NFL, and some
to the USFL.
Well, some to the USFL, NFL, maybe the CFL. But I think I don't believe. I think the CFL is going to become a domestic league.
I don't know, man. That hype up there is something.
Yeah, it's hype and everything else, but the pay structure is not as the pay structure is it's still a little bit better, but
it's better than arena football.
Yeah, don't forget. Yeah, arena football is coming back next year. So I think the CFL is going to become more domestic league, where they're going to focus. There's still going to be some players coming from America that's going to play in the CFL, but they're going to focus, I think, more so on the Canadian football players. Plus, if you want to further your career to go in the NFL and everything, your best option is to either play in the USFL or the XFL. And even if you're on a practice squad, you're still getting.
I think practice squad in NFL gets more money than XFL and USFL.
Yeah, they actually get more money than the players in the CFL.
Yeah, they get paid. Now, if you're doing the XFL, USFL, CFL for money, I'm not mad at you. You got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. If you're doing it for the love of the game, you got to do what you got to do. But if you're trying to make a career and support a family of 4+ and 4 baby mamas, you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it. That life is not for you. Then you got to pick up a side job, and we all know what happens. When that happens, selling drugs, you going to jail.
Exactly.
So, if they get what's going to set the standard on the money is the XFL at the end of this season. They got to look at the television revenue. They got to look at team paraphernalia sales, ticket sales. They got to look at all of that and what each team did individually. Put all that on the board and figure out how to make that money make sense moving forward. To either make the league look better, more attractable, more fan-friendly, whatever they need to do. Provide their own entertainment for each team that's paid for by the league. But I think there's more innovation. Because I like what they're doing with the referees. The only thing I do not like with the XFL is the play call. I don't like hearing the whole thing.
You don't like it? Well, yeah, I agree with you. I don't like the play calling. I don't like
because what if my cousin played for one of them teams?
Yeah.
And I want to contact and tell my cousin what I heard.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. The thing I like,
they're not changing the verbiage up that much.
Yeah.
If they read lips in the NBA and on the red carpet, believe me, somebody is doing their homework on these play calls.
Exactly. And it's going to relay to other teams and everything. They're going to know what they're doing and everything. The thing I like about the XFL right now is I like that they have these little weekly shows.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I watched the episode that we're talking about Meet Me in St. Louis. I just enjoyed talking about the city of St. Louis and their history of their football teams, the Cardinals, the Rams.
That's how I feel, man. I love my city.
I also like the fact that they have their hub city in Arlington, Texas, with players and everything else there. I like that idea. I like it.
It is. It's like
it's really good.
I like the communication that they give us during the game with the instant replay, with
Yes.
the in-game commentators, and also with the mic'd up referees. I like that communication.
Me too.
With the NFL, they look like they're putting out an FBI hit or trying to hide some CIA information from us.
Yeah,
They're
that's
so
the thing I
damn
don't
secretive.
like. They're very
How
secretive.
you gonna look at the replay and tell us it's not reviewable? I don't understand that.
Yeah.
But you just looked at it, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not reviewable.
Yeah. The
But they
quarterback
did
play,
say they are going to take some pages from the XFL and how they do their instant replay. I like
yes,
that.
yes. I like that. Here's what I also like too. I hope the NFL use some of the XFL rules, like the 4th and 15 onside kick. I don't like the onside kick. I don't like that. I think they should do with this. I like the idea of the 4th and 15, play where you just go ahead if you get the first down, you get to keep possession and everything else. I also like the option of either going for 2 or 3 point conversion. Can you imagine if
I like that.
Can you imagine if that was incorporated in the Chiefs with that type of offense with Patrick Mahomes? I guarantee you that
I think people cuss their bookie out even more than if they allowed that in the NFL.
Andy Reid will be going for the 3-point conversion a lot.
I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know because the internet is full of shit sometimes. Is there really an XFL game coming to PlayStation?
I don't know. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they did.
Because, that would help. Engaging the fans really helps, and the NBA has really picked up on that better than anybody. Now I see NHL and NASCAR's getting involved. Even golf is getting more hands-on with the fans.
And soccer too.
Yeah. If the XFL can get that and baseball get a little better at it, this could get very, very interesting for the fan base itself because there's a little struggle bus going on with Major League Baseball.
Yes, there is.
But whatever everybody is catching on to what the Battlehawks are doing, that's like a 60-minute segment right now. They're trying to figure out what is the secret in the sauce here in St. Louis.
Right.
On what's getting the fans to these XFL Battlehawk games.
Yep.
We're passionate people. We love our sports in this town. That's the best way I can put it. It may be a little bit of fuck you, Stan Kroenke. Let me show you. We love football. We don't need your fucking team. But on the other side, people just love football.
Yeah, football's number one. Football's number one. And like I said, St. Louis, football's number one here in St. Louis. No matter what. We've had 2 bad franchises, but when the teams are winning, we come out and show out. We come out and support the team and everything else.
Or when you're not playing up to our expectations, we're going to let you know.
Yeah, we're going to let you know. And
if you talk back to us, we really going to let you know.
Exactly, yeah.
And don't be new to our town playing for our sports team and say, these fans of St. Louis just don't get it. Oh, watch your mouth. Now we're going to take off work.
Yep.
You don't want that to happen. But I'm liking what XFL Part 3 is looking like and doing. I especially love this Battlehawks fan base.
Me too.
From the kids to the grandparents. They are locked in, invested. Yeah. This one guy told me, Brandon, he told me I got the OG hoodie. He got the first time the Battlehawks. So he got that one. That logo is a little bit different.
When I was at the game, the first game of the season at the Dome Stadium, I saw a gentleman wearing an old St. Louis Football Cardinals throwback jacket on. And I asked him, if I could take a picture and everything else, which he allowed me to, and I posted on Facebook, and I had a whole bunch of likes.
Hey, it's a vintage jerseys and jackets and pins that get worn to any St. Louis sporting event. You just look around and engage in what people have on. You'd be amazed what they pull out sometimes.
Oh, yeah. You'd be really amazed.
But man, I tell you what, I enjoy your articles that you write on the XFL, and anytime you talk about football in the St. Louis region, the past, what went on, a lot of things that people don't realize what happened, and can football ever come back? I know everybody thinking the NFL, but I think the XFL has pretty much solidified that statement. Football is back in the loop. We don't need the freaking NFL. It was fun while it lasted. We had our shot at it. Oh, well. Oh, well. Everybody's dated a hot chick before. Get over it. Everybody's dated a handsome man, a 10, checked all the boxes. You lost them. Get over it. Let's move on.
And now we decided, let's go with something that's foreign.
There it is. Let's do something that satisfies everyone's needs.
Yeah.
There it is.
Let's find ourselves a foreign person, a foreign mate.
There it is.
There you
I like
go.
it right there. My man, Alistair Fannell, thank you again for tuning in today and joining me on the show. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much, man. All right, man. Until next time, I'll holler at you later. And thanks again for tuning in to Who's to Blame the podcast, episode 516, with my special guest today, Alistair Fannell from Springfield, Missouri. As we discussed, football is back in the loop. Until next time, good people, I'll holler at you later. As they say in the hood, peace. All right, man. Holla. Who's to blame? Who's to blame? Tell me who's to blame. Ow! Yeah, tell me who's to blame. Yeah, tell me who's to blame. Yeah, who's to blame, y'all? Dum-dum.